What happened to Nemechek? Okay.
Well, he and
See,
Kyle Busch got together.
Yeah, Kyle
turns into the door of him really hard, but it's not over yet. Check this out. Not happy.
Yeah, I don't know what happened earlier in there, but everything that we saw right there, it looked like Kyle just turned over the front of the 42 car right here.
A NASCAR official stood in the garage at Texas Motor Speedway, photographing Kyle Busch's right front fender. That's not routine. That's not random. That's the beginning of an investigation that could end a Hall of Famer's career. Because what Kyle Busch did with one lap to go wasn't just aggressive racing. It was a career-ending mistake caught on camera, watched by millions, and now NASCAR has a choice. Follow their own rules or protect a two-time champion who might not survive what comes next. 103 races without a win, 26th in points, contract year, and now a suspension that could make all of that irrelevant. This is the breakdown everyone's afraid to say out loud. If this kind of deep dive NASCAR coverage is what you're looking for, hit that like button and subscribe right now. Every single subscriber genuinely means the world to this channel. Now let's get into it. Texas Motor Speedway. 2 laps to go. Kyle Busch was having his best race of the entire 2026 season. He qualified 6th, ran consistently inside the top 10 through the first 2 stages, and was doing exactly what his brand new crew chief Andy Street needed him to do on Street's very first race, calling the shots on the number 8 Chevrolet. Everything was working. And then a late caution scrambled the field completely. Busch pitted for fresh tires and came out buried in traffic. When the final restart went green, he could not make forward progress. John Hunter Nemechek got past him as the field crossed the line with 3 laps to go. That is when things went sideways, in every sense of the word. On lap 266 of 267, Busch got back underneath Nemechek through turns 1 and 2. The two ran side by side, fighting for 12th place on the backstretch. They made contact. Busch's number 8 Chevrolet tagged the outside wall and took damage. That part is debatable. Contact happens in racing. But what happened next is not debatable at all. Nemechek worked his way around Busch entering turn 3, and Busch turned hard right and door slammed the number 42 Toyota directly into the outside wall. Nemechek was sent hard into the barrier. Significant right side damage. Race over for John Hunter Nemechek with 1 lap left. Kevin Harvick, watching from the Fox broadcast booth, said it out loud in real time. He said he did not know what happened earlier, but everything he saw right there looked like Kyle just turned into the front of the 42 car, and then he just wrecked him. Clint Bowyer, sitting right next to him, noted that Busch had run in the top 10 all day, had good things going, and ended up 20th. The optics from every single camera angle were bad, and they got worse with every replay. Then came the social media posts, and they told 2 completely different stories. Nemechek went first. He said, "Not freaking clear. Great day going. And just got wrecked. What an ass." 3 sentences. No ambiguity. No diplomatic language. He called Kyle Busch an ass on social media with a replay video attached for the entire world to see. Then Busch posted his response, sharing SMT tracking data and writing, "I did not start this." The 42 apparently doesn't know where the RS of his car is and where he is in relation to the outside wall. There was 2 foot outside him, and I was judging my left side tires to the hash marks. Always know who you are racing beside. That is not an apology. That is not a "we will talk it over and move on." That is a threat dressed up as racing advice. And NASCAR heard every word. But here's where this goes from a racing incident to a career crisis. John Hunter Nemechek is not some random driver Kyle Busch has never crossed paths with. Nemechek drove for Kyle Busch Motorsports for 2 full seasons in the Craftsman Truck Series. He won 7 races under Kyle Busch's ownership between 2021 and 2022. These 2 have a history that goes back years. And now Nemechek is driving for Legacy Motor Club and having one of his best Cup Series races of the entire 2026 season, when Busch ends it with a deliberate move 2 laps from the checkered flag. The history between them makes this hit differently than a random incident between strangers. This was personal in a way that very few NASCAR incidents actually are. The suspension question is not just fan speculation. It is a legitimate and serious concern sitting on NASCAR's desk right now. The precedent is already established, and it is very clear. In 2022, Bubba Wallace was suspended one race for intentionally wrecking Kyle Larson at Las Vegas, a 1.5-mile track. In 2023, Chase Elliott was suspended one race for intentionally wrecking Denny Hamlin at Martinsville, again a retaliation incident on a comparable track. Both resulted in a one-race suspension with no warnings and no second chances. Kyle Busch drove into the door of John Hunter Nemechek entering Turn 3 at Texas Motor Speedway, a 1.5-mile track, with one lap left after contact earlier in the same sequence. A NASCAR official was seen photographing the right front fender of Busch's car after the race. That is not something officials do when they are not considering a penalty. NASCAR's own announcement on any potential penalty will come Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, if NASCAR follows their own rules. Kyle Busch doesn't race at Watkins Glen next weekend, and that possibility is catastrophic. Busch is 26th in the NASCAR Cup Series standings. He is in a contract year at Richard Childress Racing with 0 wins in 103 races and a season that has been an unmitigated disaster from the very first green flag. He just had a crew chief change 10 races into the season. Andy Street made his debut on the pit box, and the race ended with his driver deliberately wrecking a competitor on the final lap. Missing Watkins Glen to a suspension would cost Busch critical playoff points he cannot afford to give up. Every race matters enormously right now. Street addressed the incident after the race, saying the team started to make some moves on the final restart, but not going further than that. He did not defend the move. He did not condemn it. Imagine being Andy Street. First race. Your driver's having his best run of the year. And then he throws it all away for 12th place. Texas 2026 was not just about Busch and Nemechek. Ryan Preece called Ty Gibbs a name over the radio and later appeared to spin him deliberately in Turn 3. Shane Van Gisbergen, watching from his car, said out loud that he just committed a murder. Gibbs was done. Texas Motor Speedway today was not a race. It was a rolling incident report from start to finish. But while Preece and Gibbs made headlines, only one driver is facing a suspension that could end their season before summer. NASCAR has 3 options. No penalty, which would contradict every precedent they have set and invite serious accusations of favoritism. A fine or points penalty. A middle ground that still sends a message without removing him from the grid. Or a one-race suspension. The most consistent outcome based on the Wallace and Elliott cases. This isn't about whether Kyle meant to wreck him. We all saw it. This is about whether NASCAR has the courage to suspend a Hall of Famer in a contract year when his career is already hanging by a thread. Kyle Busch is a 2-time champion with Hall of Fame talent, but he has not won in 103 races. The sport is evolving. RCR has not been competitive enough. His contract situation is uncertain. And always know who you are racing beside. That line doesn't sound like a champion in control. It sounds like a desperate man trying to hold on. This might be the moment we look back on and say, that's when Kyle Busch's Cup career ended. Not with a championship, not with a win, but with a right turn into the wall at Texas over 12th place. One official, one photograph, one decision, and possibly one career-ending mistake. This is the story NASCAR doesn't want to tell, but the one we all need to hear. The ruling comes Tuesday or Wednesday, and when it does, this channel will break it down completely. This channel is brand new, and reaching 1,000 subscribers is the goal. If this breakdown gave you value, please like this video and subscribe. It genuinely makes a difference and keeps this coverage coming. Now tell me, do you think NASCAR should suspend Kyle Busch for what happened at Texas? Or was this just hard racing that got out of hand? Drop your opinion in the comments. The conversation starts right now.